What it is, ho? What's up? Can a veteran get some cut? Welcome to the first episode of the MilTalk Podcast. That is right. This is my third attempt at a military-related podcast. I started out years ago with the Red Leg Podcast. It was pretty good. It was just me telling my stories from my time in the Army. I was interviewing other soldiers and veterans, and I eventually let that go. But it did lead to a couple of books. Red Leg Volume 1, which can be found on Amazon, and it is also on most streaming platforms except for Apple Music. They were some haters. Took it down because I had something else going on. And then also you could find the audiobook also on YouTube. It's right on there. And then there's Red Leg Volume 2, which is on Amazon. And I do plan on working on the audio version of that. And then I am currently working on Red Leg Volume 3. And then there will be a Red Leg Volume 4. I thought there was going to be a trilogy, but I'm just putting way too much pressure on myself. Once I get done with the 4 books, then I plan on putting the audio versions of the rest of them. And then I will also go back and I will work on the script for Red Leg Volume 1. The goal is to make it a movie. Just think Forrest Gump and Hillbilly Elegy, but make it black. And so there was that with Red Leg Podcast. And then I tried to come back with the Barracks Bunny Podcast, and that never came to fruition. I was encouraged by my brother to hop back into the podcast game, but had a lot going on. And then I finally was inspired to do the MilTalk Podcast from a conversation that I had with Matt Sergeant Parker. It was a great conversation. I eventually want to have him on here. We just talked about DEI, beards, and just the current state of the Army. We had a couple of the Yankee Novembers on there as well, talking about their experience, because I do want to, I want to be very inclusive with this podcast. I want to make sure that I'm including military folks, veterans, spouses, dependents, just everybody that is part of the military ecosystem. So with that, this podcast is going to be a little bit different. And yes, I did jack the name from MilTalk. That's where I got inspired for the name. And but we're going to call this thing MilTalk. Yeah, because I found myself to be one of the more triggering MilTalk creators on there. That's how I ended up with 14,000 followers by doing trigger military content. Gotta love it, baby. And so so the structure of this podcast, we're going to start out with a current military topic, and then we're going to go into a story about my time from the military, and then we are going to talk a little bit about life after the military. And so, I'm trying to think, is there anything? Oh, I should talk about my credentials. You're like, how can you even talk about the military? I don't want there to be any stolen valor. So I am a United States Army veteran. I am 3rd generation as far as I know. My dad served during the Cold War and Desert Storm era. He didn't go to Desert Storm. He was one of the units that didn't get deployed. I'm so glad he didn't go, because my dad was a special man. He was institutionalized without even going to prison, but he passed away. 22 shot to him. And then my grandfather, he fought in Korea. I think, he was drafted. He had fought in the Korean War. And I've got other family members that served. And I broke a generational curse, because my son just turned 23, and 23 was the age that I was when I went into the Army. And so I have a son and a daughter. As far as I know, they have not joined the military, and so there we go. If they do join, I want it because they want it to be because they want to join, not because they have to join, like how me and my dad were joining because to escape. And of course, my grandpa joined because, well, he had no choice. Uncle Sam snatched his ass up. So like I said, I did 7 years, 3 months. It definitely sounds like a prison bid. I got out as a staff sergeant, E6. I completed 2 combat tours to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I did 07-09 during the surge, longest 15 months of my life, and then 10 and 11, and the end of that 11 was Operation New Dawn. Real easy time. After you do 15, 12 months is cake. You could do that in your head. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I went to basic at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, home of the field artillery. I did OSIT, so that's one station unit training, and I did my basic and AIT all in one place. And then my first duty station was Fort Lewis, Washington. In basic, I was in Alpha Battery, Alpha 122. There we go. 1st Battalion, 22nd Field Artillery. There we go. And then my first unit duty station was at Fort Lewis, Washington. I know it's Joint Base Lewis McChord now, but I was part of Alpha Battery, 2nd Battalion, 8th Field Artillery. So good old automatic battalion. And then we reflagged to 2nd Stryker Cavalry Regiment. I was part of the fires. I was fire squadron. Why can't this escaping me? We went from automatic to fires. What was the thing? Man, why is it escaping me? I know 2SCR, the motto was always ready, choose and pray. Why is it escaping? Oh, artillery hell. There we go. And then from there, that's when I deployed to Iraq. During that deployment, I was in Taji, and then we moved up north to Warhorse, and in between there was a couple of a joint security station and then a combat outpost. Came back to Germany, and then I re-enlisted like a dumbass, and got PCS to Fort Carson, Colorado, where I was in 3rd Brigade 4th ID, and I was part of I was in Bravo Battery, 329 FA. I went from Bravo Battery to Headquarters Battery, then eventually I went from Alpha Battery to Headquarters to Bravo Battery, and I went to Iraq with them. Started out with Alpha at Gary Owen, and then moved up north, moved up wherever to Adder, or Toledo as the Air Force called it, to be part of Headquarters. And then I moved, once we got back from Iraq, I was in Bravo Battery, and that's where I was able to become a section chief. I had a section. It was a wonderful experience. Got to coach, teach, and mentor soldiers. It's one of the best experiences ever. So there we go with my credentials, and let's go ahead and start out with some current topics. Well, a current topic in the military right now. So there's this big hoopla about beards, man. I saw that the Marines is taking some action as far as the grooming standards, and they're going to put a lot of these Marines through treatment for their beard issues, or their basically razor bumps. And so I think they're going to do a treatment, and they will be able to have a shaving profile. What a shaving profile is it allows you to go without shaving, because of course the standard is you're supposed to shave every day. And I think they even said some of the treatment they're going to do, like creams and other kinds of treatments, and even laser hair removal. That's some extreme stuff right there. I'm cool on that. And if it doesn't work out, then they'll get booted out. And then we'll see I think the Army is waiting to see what the Marines does, and then they'll follow suit from there. And I don't know what the hell be going on in the Air Force or the Navy. And I know Master Parker is kind of leading the way on. I need to actually do a little more research on what he's doing. Like, what is the end game when it comes to beards? Is it to allow beards to be in AR 670-1, which is the grooming regulation? I know there's a lot of back and forth about beards. I know that if you have a religious exemption, certain religions you have to have a beard. So there's that. And so we'll see. A lot of it just is uniformity issues. And on one side, you got the white boys that don't really get it. Well, I want to say, don't say all the white boys. I want to clump them all together. But it's really not their fight. There's very few of them that do have razor bump issues or sensitivity issues from shaving. And then you got the brothers. And I remember during my time, the first time that I had to shave in the Army, and it was in basic training. I had a 1-blade razor, and I had a dry shave. I had a little bit of water that I was using, but man, I was cutting, and all you heard was the sound like, and blood was dripping into the water or the sink. That was the start of my razor bumps, and that was annoying. My razor bumps were just like kind of low level. They weren't like super extreme. I've heard of super extreme cases. I know there were times where if I were to sweat, it would burn. I tried different types of razor blades. Even, went all the way to maybe the quadruple blades. I used special types of clippers. And it's funny because after I got out, there was somebody on TikTok that said, I think I could have used deodorant on it, and it would have kept that from happening. So, yeah, and then I would get a shaving profile when I was an E6 when I went to the field, because trying to shave in the field that sucked right there. It's already dirty out there. I was in the field all the time, so that's the only time I would implement my shaving profile. So, I know that it's a struggle for Master Sergeant Parker with his fight, because he's there are people that are for it, but a lot of these soldiers aren't keeping it maintained, and so it looks horrible. So it's all like, come on now, one team, one fight. All right, is that enough about beards? All right, it's enough about the beard. So let's go ahead and get into an Army story. What story do I feel like telling? I should have probably had a story already figured out. You know what? Since I'm working on this book, I'll go and tell the story here. It really doesn't matter if I tell these stories, because if you read the whole book, it's still going to be hilarious and entertaining. And so this story comes from, I'm actually going to tell two of them real quick. So the first one is going to be the time that I got some pussy in Qatar. And so during deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, they had what they call a freedom rest. So what that was, you get a 4-day pass, and you got to get shipped down to Qatar, however you say it, and just got some rest and relaxation. And so mine was great because I got to Iraq in August of 2007, and then I got promoted to specialist in that October, and in that same week I got my freedom rest. So what we did was I turned in my weapon, and I took oh man, how'd it go? How did that thing go? Oh, okay, I remember now. I took a Black Hawk. Was it Black Hawk? Basically, I took a chopper. Took the chopper from Iraq to Ali Salim. Was it Ali Salim? No. The Green Zone, wherever that was. In Baghdad. There we go. And then took a flight from the green zone, I think we either flew to Kuwait and then flew to Qatar, or we might have flown straight from there to Qatar. I don't know, man. A lot of this stuff, a few brain cells zapped. And so I got to Qatar. It was dope. Got to be around women, female soldiers, because I was in an all-male unit. The only females that we had were in headquarters, and then we had 2 female medics, but beginning deployment, I wasn't trying to fuck them. And so got down there, and it was cool being in Qatar because, you know, you're just chilling, and you can go on these different adventures. They could have taken you, I forgot where all the activities were. I know one of them was you got taken down to the city, to the mall. And so it's funny because you got to wear civilian clothes. So I knew I was going to go on Freedom Rest, so I ordered some clothes from Dr. J's. That's right. Shout out to Dr. J's. And so also in Qatar, that was when I realized I had some back issues. So I went to the PX and I tried to sit down and my back gave out a little bit. I was like, oh, snap. But that's neither here or there. So we went. I was in Qatar. I had Chili's over there, and it was funny because at the Chili's, I had I think she was from, our server was from the Philippines. And I was like, hey, how did you end up from the Philippines all the way up here to Qatar? She said, oh, I went through a couple agencies, and that's when I learned that the Filipinos were the world's Mexicans. That's right. So that was cool. And then there was this like nightclub or whatever. They were playing music, and Soulja Boy's Crank That it came out, so I got to do that. And also, like I said, I went to the mall in Qatar, and I learned that even going out in town as men, I wasn't allowed to wear shorts, so I had to have pants. Very interesting. And what else? And then I also noticed that I was having homesickness from Iraq. I missed my brothers. But I didn't miss them too much because I had my eye on this one white female soldier. And we were talking. She was actually talking. It was other male soldier with us too. And I was like, look, bro, I'm about to beat you out. Whatever you're trying to do, I'm cool. So I don't know what kind of game I was spitting that I convinced old girl to come out to a bunker with me. But we went out to a bunker, and we had relations in a bunker in Qatar. I used a condom, but it was rather awkward trying to have sex on that cement, that dirty cement, and then just listen out for people walking by. But I made it happen. Shout out to her. Big ups to her. Appreciate her, man. For real. And then afterwards, after my freedom rest ended, went back to Iraq. Went back to the suck. Alright, that was story number 1. Do I want to tell this other story? Yeah, I'll tell it real quick. It's not long. But so when I was in Iraq, we were in these things called chews. They were housing units. So they were like trailers that they turned into housing units. It was basically I had a 2-man one where it was like 2 beds. So 1 bed on each side, and in the middle we separated it by our wall lockers. And you had to go outside to the shower trailers if you want to take a shower. But it was very important that you kept your room clean because, well, who wants to have a dirty roommate? And also, you don't want to deal with no smell. And then also, like, they would still have room inspections. So if your room was dirty, we would get in trouble. And my roommate owes private bail. Couldn't keep his side of the room clean for shit. And so, of course, my chief was upset about it, and he smoked the whole section. So what smoking is doing a bunch of exercise, and it just really sucks. And so he's like, y'all need to get them rooms clean. And then so we get back to my room, and I get back, and Bale is over there not cleaning his room. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you not cleaning up your... Bro, we just got smoked. And I don't know what he was going through, but he was just sitting there and he didn't want to clean up. And so I get in his face, I was like, clean up, motherfucker. And next thing I know, this dude grabs his M4, cocks around to the chamber. I'm like, oh shit, is he about to shoot me? And so I reacted quick. I grabbed his M4, threw it out his hand to the side, and I gave him the lump. I was like, bing, 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 bing. I wasn't trying to die. And so one of the sergeants from my section heard the kerfuffle and came up in there, and he pulled me off of him. And so Bell, he ended up, he got sent to be a chaplain assistant. I got a new roommate. I really don't even remember who my new roommate was. Was it Root? I don't know. But yeah, that was the time that my roommate tried to kill me in Iraq. So there we go with story time. Let's go ahead and get into some life after the Army. All right, with life after the Army, what we're going to discuss, mental health. Mental health is something that many of us struggle with, especially with PTSD and just adjusting to life after the military. Excuse me. I tell people that coming back home from war, and then also if you led soldiers, as I did, it's the equivalent of being Superman in Superman 2, when he gave up his powers because he wasn't loving with Lois Lane. That pussy had to be fired for him to give up his powers. But he gave up his powers and he went to the diner. Another dude was trying to holler at Lois, and then Clark Kent, he tried to step up to him and got his ass whooped. Woo! Man. And that's what it's like to be regular. Like, the saddest part of all, because I watch a lot of war movies and war documentaries, and the saddest part about all those war movies is when the veteran has to come home and be normal. Especially in Jarhead, that scene at the end when, you know, they got one dude stocking shells. Like, come on, you led missions in Iraq. You did you leaped over tall buildings downrange, and you got to come back and be normal, stock shells. Or and what was that movie? Man, so a lot of brain cells got burned. Dead Presidents. Yes. Ant, come back. Got to come back to, you know, find out that the pimp is fucking his baby mama. Get his ass whooped by the pimp. And then of course, you know, afterwards she was all up in his face. You know, after he accused, you know, he's all like, "Are you messing with you fucking him?" And she was like, "Yeah, I am. You came back and you can't fuck. You won't hold me at night. I gotta hold you after them nightmares, you night sweats." And he was all like, "You just don't know." And you know, he strangled her. And then afterwards, like, she's still following him, and he's all like, she walking up behind. It's one thing you do not do. Do not walk up behind a war vet. And he turned around and lost it and strangled the fuck up her against the wall. And I remember I had a moment like that when I got back from Iraq the first time. And man, it's crazy because you do all that time downrange, and like I did 15, and I just couldn't wait to come home. Like I was tired. You know, they was rugging us ragged. I couldn't, like, dudes losing their mind. I couldn't wait to come home. And I get home, and I remember that I went out with some of the homies, and this chick I was fucking with, and we got drunk, and I was back at my partner's house. Shout out to Miller, man. He just retired. Shout out to him. And I got drunk, and I'm throwing up, and I'm in his bathtub, just crying, just sobbing, like, uncontrollably, talking about I want to go back. I want to go back. Just send me back. So, man, that's some real stuff. And so then I come home from leave. Me and my baby mommy are getting into it, and she tells me, "I wish you would have died over there." And in my mind, I was like, I almost did, and I blacked out. And next thing I know, I come to, and I am strangling her. Like, I am trying to kill this woman. There was some other reasons why too, but just in that moment, and I can't be mad at her too much, because if I would have died, she would have got probably like damn near $500,000. And so that's why I need my art to pop off, because the plan is to give my baby mama a $500,000 check. Be like, here, bitch, here you go. See, I didn't have to die for you to get this money. But yeah, it's real. It's a struggle. I've dealt with. I've tried to go through traditional therapy. I've taken all the pills. And I just decided, I was like, no, this is not it. I had the drug problem. What made me kick like the hard drugs was I had I had 2 drug related seizures. One of them was because I had taken Coke and Xans too close together, and then the second one came from Molly. And then just dealing with the psych. Just the medications they gave me. Like, I tried to kick them at some point, and one of them was giving me brain zaps. The other had me throwing up. Felt like I was throwing up poison. I felt I had dope sickness from Seroquel, and I was like, nah, this is not it. So what has helped me was the psychedelic therapy, Heroic Hearts. I went on a veterans retreat with them, and that was great. That's because of them, I made a decision to move out of Mexico. I need to get some more shrooms, but I'll microdose shrooms here and there. And then I do miss the weed. The weed will help me sleep because that insomnia was crazy. There have been times I've been up 3-4 days and just couldn't sleep. I popped like 6-7 Benadryl, still couldn't sleep, tired, couldn't sleep. I popped pills to the point where I didn't care if I woke up. And so the weed definitely helped, and they don't really got a lot of great weed down here. So yeah, but I maintain, I do yoga, I meditate, my art has really helped, playing the guitar, painting. So the goal is to help veterans with some art therapy, with some music therapy, with psychedelic therapy, and we're gonna make that thing happen. So you know what? We're gonna end it right there. That has been a wonderful episode of MilTalk. If you are a veteran, if you are a dependent, if you are active duty and you would like to be a part of MilTalk, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on TikTok, or you can go to my website, which is forrestjob.com. I'll leave it in the comments. And you know what? I'll close out with my call sign, which was 18. It's crazy how it is 18 because I was conceived in 1981. That's when my dad busted that nut. So I've got 81 tattooed under my eye because of that. And then my dad is where his remains are is row 2, column 81. And then in the Army, my call sign was 18. That was the name of my howitzer. So I'll finish out with this. It's 18 out.